Down to lead us in the pledge.
All veterans may render a salute. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. We will ask that we'll ask that you'll join us in a moment of silence, which you may use for silent reflection or silent prayer. Thank you all very much. Council members, we do have minutes from our November 14th meeting and our December the 12th meeting. Now, we've had some unusual activity here. We had two council members that had had shorter terms, and as such, when we had the elections in November, both Ms. Artrip and Mr. Davis, once they were qualified, were able to join us in the December meeting. So at the November meeting, only Mrs. Foster and I were present. So Mrs. Foster, have you read the minutes from the November 14th meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a motion that we approve as submitted?
I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
So we have a motion, and I'll make a second to that motion. You and I are the only ones that can vote on that, as we were the only sitting members of council that were serving at that time. So all in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, so we're good to go. Now, for the December 12th meeting, as I said, Ms. Artrip and Mr. Davis had joined us, but Mr. Gillespie had not yet taken office, as his election did not qualify for him for office until January the 1st. So as such, council members, you all have the December 12th minutes. Is there a motion to approve, or is there any change that needs to be made? Do we have a motion to approve the December 12th meeting? We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Well, yes. Okay, we're good to go. All right. I got too many things to keep track of. That's how it goes. At this time, we'll open the meeting for citizen comments on public matters. Anything you'd like to share with the council, anything you'd like to share with the community, you're welcome to come down to the podium. Please use the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. At this time, we'll open the floor for comments.
Hi, my name's Gary Harris, and I've lived in Radford all my life. I know we're starting a new year, and I just wanted to bring up that I hope sometimes during this winter session or before springtime, you start talking about paving some of our roads, especially the main roads. Coming in East Radford is bumpy as all get out. Grove Avenue is terrible. And so I just wanted to hope that's something y'all discuss later on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And just for our new council members, the way that we typically do this is we have our citizen comments, and then after all citizen comments, we have the opportunity to respond, limiting our comments to a minute or less. So, all right, we will continue on. Mr. Fleischer, go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Bill Fleischer. This is a form of a question. I was reading about in the state budget, I think they've allotted funds for the building of a power plant at Radford University. I know this is of some concern because when the foundry went out, the city lost a lot of revenue because of electric charges. The same would happen with the university, and I was wondering if sometime in the future you would keep us informed on that and what's going on. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can you make it over to the microphone? Okay.
Hi, my name is Claudia Van Arsdale, and I'm depressed about what happened at Bissett. They've cut the trees down that gave us shade and protected our lands. They've made it so we have to have more employees to cut more grass, which means using more fossil fuels. I'm sorry, but I would have rather the roads fixed, other things fixed, and I don't know why. When you spend that much money, you didn't fix the old things that have been problems for years. We've had holes. We had unbelievable amounts. I have a hard time walking down the roads, and I have a hard time going down the paths because I have a walker. And I just think that when you spend that much money, that we should think about the erosion problems and shade. And it seems like fossil fuel, y'all don't care about using more, do you? And my roads, I'm with you. Fix them. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizen comments?
Evening, Council.
Good evening.
My name is William Ratcliffe. It brought to my attention that today is Law Enforcement Workers Recognition Day or Appreciation Day. I know a lot of times we say thank you, but today is their special day for us to express our appreciation to our police and also to our sheriff's departments. You know, they are sworn in to serve and to protect, and I think they do a great job at doing both of them. You know, at times they may make mistakes, but there again, we have to realize that they were all just human beings like we are human beings right now. And there's no one in here that is perfect. And a lot of times they are criticized, a lot of times they are put down. But we must realize that as they go out and risk their lives to serve and to protect us citizens of the city of Radford. So I think we owe them and also their families a special thank you today, since it is a special day to show our appreciation to them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments for the public record? Hearing none, we will close that portion of the meeting, and we will open up the time for council to make some response to that. I will start us off just real briefly addressing each of the issues. Before I do that, I'm just going to reiterate, we had a request from Mr. Harris to look at our paving, particularly along Main Street and Grove Avenue and some other places in need of painting. Mr. Fleischer asked a question about the Radford University electric purchase and the potential cogen facility that's proposed for Radford University. Ms. Van Arsdale brought up her concerns regarding the path and some of the trees in Bissett Park, and Mr. Radcliffe brought up Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So I'll start actually in reverse order on that and just give you a brief comment. Yes, thank you so much, and we are so thankful for our law enforcement officers. Could not be more appreciative of the hard work and the danger they put themselves in, and we say thank you, and certainly more to follow later in council comments. Ms. Van Arsdale, for Bissett Park, we are in the process of upgrading and repairing the pathway. This next year, we will be adding additional sections of repaving. David, do you want to comment on that just briefly?
Sure. The remaining piece of Bissett Park will be paved from Shelter 3 to roughly Shelter 2, widened to equal the rest of the paved area, and then also along the river. There's a couple places there where the river has reclaimed some of the land, and we're working around that, so those plus some spot paving here and there on the path.
And to address the concerns about the trees, the electric department had to remove several trees that were under the power lines, as well as we've had some trees that have died in the park, but we are looking to continue to plant in the park. Beautification Commission has been addressing that, as well as horticulture, so there should be more. We're not going to get into a back and forth right now, but certainly if you'd like to talk about it after the meeting, we can have more discussion. Real briefly on the cogen facility, thank you for bringing that up. Certainly we are made aware that a proposal has been made. It's in the state budget. Hopefully in the next month, we're going to have a discussion about public power here in the city of Radford and where we're going. Right now, we're not a whole lot more further informed on where everything is than the rest of the general public, but we are aware of it, and we're working to get more information on that subject matter. And then for the paving, and Gary, I'm not sure where you went right now, but we are looking at the paving. East Main Street is due to be paved all the way from basically near the Memorial Bridge to the east end of town as we go through our East Main redevelopment program. Sadly, Grove Avenue is a little more complicated. That area has primarily been cut up for a number of reasons. First of all, we're very fortunate that the gas company Atmos is expanding their service in the city of Radford, putting down new lines, so they are addressing that. And then we've obviously had some issues with utilities along Grove Avenue. That's one that we need to get through some of the further improvement of the utility before we're able to go on and pave that road. But certainly I hate driving along that bumpy street as well. So at this time, I'll open up for a minute each for the rest of council if you all have comments on any of this. And Kelly, we'll begin with you.
I definitely agree that roads are something we need to definitely focus on. I'm a little bit new to what is going on planned in the future, but I know that I have faith in David and his plan of attack to get things done. So if I'm sure we'll address that, as we go along. As far as the trees and things in Bissett Park, I do know that we did take some things down because of electoral issues. I know that we also are all very passionate about making sure that the park is beautiful. I use it a lot with my kids. I know a lot of citizens do. So I will look forward to planning some new things to replace some old things. And the power plant is definitely something that is on our radar, and we've had a little bit of discussion about it, but I don't really know much more than what you have said. So I know that that's something that we're going to make sure that we address and look at very carefully, because that's definitely something that could possibly affect things that we do in the future, for sure. And I know that I have unfortunately had to be a citizen using our police department a couple of times very recently. They have done an amazing job as always, professional, knowledgeable, there, within a second to do anything I need. So I'm very, very proud of our police department for sure. And I know council will continue to support them however they need. So very thankful for them.
Thank you. Jesse, you have 1 minute.
All right. Well, one thing I wanted to add about the improvements on the road is the request that we've made of our citizens, and I'm glad to see that they're stepping up and doing this. We go about our day and move about the city, and we say that, we look, but we stop seeing things. And so when you are out and about, if you see a big pothole, if you see a branch leaning over, if you see a sign that needs replaced or maybe is being blocked by a tree limb, please reach out and let us know. And I can guarantee you that we will get to that as quickly as possible. And we've been trying to aggressively address paving as much as we could. We have budgets, and also we have some difficulty getting the materials that we need. But we know we travel down the same road you do, so we are aware of Grove. We certainly know that we need to do some additional marking as well. So it's not just filling up the potholes, but it's also designating the lines. So, keep those suggestions coming. Keep really seeing and keeping us informed, and we'll do our very best to keep up on that. The parks, I think we have that covered. Certainly we have expansion going on while we want to maintain what we currently have. In regards to our police officers and recognizing their efforts, personally, I think we could never do enough. So thank you for bringing that up and giving us the opportunity to once again thank them for all that they contribute to our community.
Thank
and
you,
I'm
Jesse.
probably over my minute, David.
You are.
So
You're good.
Thank you.
Seth, you got a minute.
Thank you.
I'll echo everything that's been said, and I do appreciate everyone who brought these things to our attention, because that is truly how we get to know these things and how we can help address these things. I will comment on Mr. Fleischer's on the RU general the cogen proposal, and that, that is something that we're aware of, we're working on, and it's certainly an important issue that we will give our utmost attention to, and I won't rehash everything at the park and paving, but I know David Ripath and staff they do great work, and will address these things as needed, and I'll follow up with what everyone has said, and I'm so thankful for Police Dobson and our whole police force. They deserve more than a day just to show our appreciation for them, but today is your day, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you. Bobby, you have a minute.
Yes, likewise. Appreciate everybody coming up. I think it gives us a time chance to get to know you and you to get to know us. Likewise, I have the same concerns about the roads, potholes. I'm sure that, David and everyone has a plan for that, but I'll follow up on that and see what's going on there. Police department, I think the police department is probably the most, not our police department, but overall the most underappreciated people out there. They put everything on the line every day. So, am I allowed to say prayer? We should pray for them. Bissett Park, in relation to the, obviously, David's got a plan there, so it sounds like, we'll take care of all that. And as far as RU, Radford University, losing revenue, I'm likewise very concerned about what's going on there. And so I'll be digging into that, and I'm sure we all will. And once again, I appreciate everything that everybody's bringing to our attention.
Thank you, Bobby, and thank you again for all the citizens who come forward to make a statement, to bring things up, and to talk with council. This is a great opportunity for us to interact. David.
Just a couple of things, because I know the answer to those now. Each year, we have between $300,000 and about $600,000 pavement maintenance program. Because of the fuel costs and anything associated with petroleum went up tremendously in the spring and summer. We did not do that program this year. We elected to hold off, see if prices would go down. We've been trying to combat that with potholes. As you know, in our area, you can end up with more potholes than anything else, so we're trying to keep those up. Anybody has a pothole location, let us know. Public Works is trying to get on those streets, but we do have an aggressive plan for the spring. Also included in that, VDOT, we did get a grant from VDOT valued at a little over $1 million that will pave, as the mayor had mentioned, from about where Bissett Park entrance is all the way to the city limits eastward. That's the last section that had not been paved on East Main, as well as a section from about mid-Kiff Lane back towards the 4-lane on 232. So those two sections will be included in that. And then Grove Avenue has been challenging between the tree roots and water and sewer lines that are getting some age. We're getting ready to replace some water and sewer lines. We'll be doing those a piece at a time. We hope to have those completed by summertime and be able to repave the road from 3rd Avenue back over to roughly those are in process and planned for spring. Hope for good prices and good weather to be able to do it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward, K&J Properties has requested the vacation of 3 excess public right-of-ways to expand property at 1925 2nd Street, supporting the development of 6 townhomes. The right-of-ways include 12 feet of 2nd Street between Custis Street and Ingle Street, 15 feet of Custis Street between West Main and 2nd Street, as well as 5 feet of the alleyway between Custis and Ingle Street. The application fees have been paid. K&J Properties has amended their application, removed a portion of the vacation that would have been the 5 feet of the alleyway. We scheduled a public hearing for tonight at our meeting on December the 8th, and it's been advertised as required. So as such, we will open the floor for the public hearing and let you all bring forward your concerns, questions, whatever you have, and then we will address this. Up on the screen, we do have an example of some of the right-of-ways that we're discussing, and we can certainly go into more detail on that. We have more to say about this after we get through the public hearing portion, but at this time, I'll open the floor for the public hearing. Melissa?
I just want a clarification.
Would you go to the microphone?
The 5 feet off the alleyway is not included in this. They're
Right.
just okay, you
I
said
added
then.
that. I did say that the
Okay.
portion of the alleyway was removed.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. So, as such, is anyone here to speak in the public hearing for the K&J property vacation of excess public right-of-ways? Either way, whatever you'd like to do, you have the microphone down here. Just state your name for the record, and please share your comments.
How y'all doing? My name's KJ Ford. I'm Vice President of K&J Properties. Do a lot of work here in the New River Valley and Radford City. What we're looking to do here, we're looking to develop the lot there on 1925 Second Street. Right now, it's an abandoned home. I think it's been abandoned for a few years. It's a hazard to the city. It's not bringing any income to the city in any way, and so we're looking to add value to that part of the city and see if we can help the community as a whole.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak during the public hearing? Seeing no one else coming forward to the microphone, we will close the public hearing portion of the meeting, and we will move on to old business. And as such, I'm going to ask Melissa to please join us at the podium. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're trying to do with properties, and I know we have several. As we get into the old business, I wanted to talk a little bit before we appoint the Board of Viewers. That's on my list under old business, and we will get to that in just a moment. I'm not moving forward. We're still talking about the vacation of the property. I just thought we'd talk. Okay. I was just going to talk in general about the comprehensive plan and some of the things regarding housing. And all of this ties together as part of that. I didn't mean to confuse you. So what I was going to say is I was asking Melissa to come to the podium. Melissa is our community development manager, and she works with Planning Commission. We've been working for several years regarding our comprehensive plan, zoning, and revitalizing a number of neighborhoods in the city of Radford. So for example, both the next two items of business under old business relate to housing, whether it is redevelopment of properties or development of new properties. So Melissa, I'll turn the floor over to you.
And I do apologize.
That's okay.
I should be patient and listen.
You're
and
fine.
And wait for you to give the full instruction. Mayor, as you shared, the Planning Commission and the City Council have worked many years on really identifying, moving forward what the best strategies are for housing development as just one topic. I mean, there are many items that we discussed within the comprehensive plan, but specifically for housing, in the most recent comprehensive plan that was approved in 2017, one of the housing priorities was to encourage the diversity in housing types, sizes, and quality throughout the community. And one of the strategies that was requested to be implemented was to do develop a housing study. As some of you are aware, and I believe earlier this evening I sent the rest of the Planning Commission, City Council members, Seth, I believe you have a copy of the housing study that was approved in 2021, but that really is a good wealth of information regarding the region, and more specifically the city of Radford, because the whole region is dealing with a housing crisis that's at this point, whether it be the need of new housing or the need of the redevelopment of the housing that we're doing in the communities. So using this comprehensive plan as a guide of what we want moving forward in the community, we're seeing us implementing this housing study to help us come up with strategies and ideas and what to implement inside of Radford. One of the strategies that came out of the housing study was to encourage zoning that allows for creative density options that include the missing middle piece that takes form of like attached townhomes, duplexes, and small scale apartment buildings. Certainly, these are just tools that we use moving forward, but it certainly is something that's useful that we can help developers in City Council and Planning Commission make sound decisions on how we want our community to look. So as we move forward, we certainly have the zoning ordinance that supports actually the comprehensive plan and the housing study. So certainly we are always working on that to better. And it's not just for one project, it's for the community at whole.
Thank you. And that was the point of what I was hoping to get to this evening. So the comprehensive plan was last updated in 2017, and we determined as a community that we needed to find ways to revitalize the housing market in the city of Radford. New homes, redevelopment of existing neighborhoods and homes, looking at different types of properties. Now, the good news is over the last few years, we've had a great deal of success in getting things like patio homes, which were requested for decades prior to the last few years. Redevelopment of some older homes in the city of Radford. As you well know, within our 10 square miles, we have some older housing stock that is not as desirable to some of the younger families today. And as such, working with private developers to try to bring about new housing stock and to try to move things in new directions has been a priority. Certainly Planning Commission, and Seth, I know you've served on Planning Commission, has talked about this a great deal, and trying to be inventive as we move forward so that we're able to reimagine neighborhoods in a way that's most productive, not only for the property owners, but for all the residents that live there. And so that was part of this discussion to put it into place. Now, for this vacation of the right-of-way, certainly those are some of the things we have to take into consideration. Is there enough available space within the property for the developer to be able to do the things they want to do? Now, for us to move forward here, we do need to look to appoint a board of viewers to look at the request to vacate the area, which is just a little under an acre. It's 0.8087 acres, and then they'll make a recommendation on that vacation's impact to the community, to the council. At that point in time, we'll receive the board of viewers' recommendation, and then we'll make a determination about where we move forward from there. So at this point in time, I have some names that I've thought of that David and I have talked about a little bit, but are there any names for the board of viewers for appointment?
Actually, I believe a name that crossed my mind, and I don't know if he's previously done it before or not, but he's actually here, is Abram Williams. I think he
was one of the names on my
Okay,
list. We just haven't talked with anybody. Okay. Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Scratch that.
We'll scratch Abram. All right.
And I was going to say, and Jennifer's actually here as well, and I think I've worked on a vacation of rights with her and Mr. Castleberry, and I think either or both of them would do a great job.
So Jennifer Bondurant and Bart Castleberry would be your suggestions? That's still okay. I think would be all right, even if Bart's on Planning Commission, correct? Yep. Because you all were both on Planning Commission, I think, when you served previously.
I did it. When I did my vacation of rights, I was on Planning Commission.
Yeah, okay. And then Mr. Fleischer, you've been such a great member for us before. Would you be willing to serve once again? Not to put you on the spot or anything. So Bill Fleischer, Jennifer Bondurant, and Bart Castleberry. Would that make a good board of viewers for us?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to nominate those folks? We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. The ayes have it. Thank you all very much. And hopefully that explanation of what we're doing in Melissa's overview has helped to look at all the housing market, because these two issues, this vacation of the right-of-way and then also taking a look at our next ordinance, looking at rezoning for the Lovely Mount Drive development and scheduling that public hearing, those are important elements, because as we move forward as a community, we really have to consider all possibilities and determine that. It doesn't mean that we'll do everything that's considered, but it certainly means that we need to have those discussions and explore them. So as such, we'll move on to our next order of business, which is Ordinance 1780, a look at rezoning for Lovely Mount townhomes. Jeffrey Stump is proposing to construct 30 townhomes adjacent to Lovely Mount Drive. The 10.63 acres is zoned as R3, which is single-family residential, and would require rezoning to R4 multifamily residential. I do want to give you a little bit of information on that. A joint public hearing was held on November 14th, 2022. Public concerns reflected density of the development. That was discussed. Stormwater runoff. Parking, did we have enough available parking? Traffic volume, roadway conditions, and then the access to the site itself for the folks who might live there. No action was taken following the public hearing until the Planning Commission had a chance to meet in the month of December to make a recommendation. The Planning Commission did meet on December the 19th and recommended the approval of the rezoning request to City Council with 6 affirmative votes with 1 abstention, so unanimous other than the abstention. City staff has also looked at this as well. We have prepared an ordinance 1780 for us to consider. However, to meet requirements of public notice, we are going to schedule a public hearing for the City Council, and we can do that on February the 13th, 2023. That's a couple meetings away. It doesn't impact the previous action by Planning Commission or their meeting or public hearing. So as such, first I'll open the floor for discussion if you all have any questions, and then we can take a motion on scheduling the public hearing for February the 13th.
Only question I'll have is, I guess, Melissa and staff, have you guys, I'm assuming, made this aware to the developer and it doesn't hinder their project, they're okay and understanding, pretty much, they understand? Okay, that was the only.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? Do we have a motion to schedule a public hearing for February 13th?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The ayes have it. We'll see you on the 13th for that meeting. We also need to look at filling a citizen appointment to the Beautification Commission. Do we have any nominees at this point in time? Jenny, has anyone expressed any additional interest? Yeah, if you bring that up. I don't recall seeing it, but that may be in there.
And I think he's been in touch with Matt Close.
Yep. So Matthew Alberts, and I'll just read his letter from December the 13th. I'm interested in supporting the City of Radford Beautification Commission. I graduated from RU in December 1997. I've always been fascinated by Virginia's beauty and the diversity of trees and plants that grow in its soils. I'm a Radford resident, and I want to do my little part to make the world a better place for generations to come. I once saw a documentary on television that stated if we could plant a forest the size of Australia, we might be able to reverse global warming. In my lifetime, I will do my part to attempt to plant my share of that many trees. If any additional information is required, please contact me. Thank you for your time. Matthew J. Alberts. He lives at 814 9th Street. Okay, so we have a possible citizen appointment. Do we have a motion to appoint Mr. Alberts to Beautification Commission? We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Well, Matthew will be on Beautification Commission. Jenny, if you'll reach out to him, that would be outstanding, and we will move forward from there. We have multiple new business items to consider. First up is a look at Radford Transit. The Virginia Statewide Public Transportation Agency Plan, the PTASP for small public transportation providers, is a comprehensive plan outlining the safety management system programs at 15 small transit agencies across the Commonwealth. They require that agencies receiving federal funding, develop a PTASP. The Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation is the state agency responsible for developing these plans for small transit agencies. They were responsible for gathering input from each of our small transit agencies and participated in the development, review, and update of the PTASP. So, Melissa, do you have anything you want to share with us on this, or?
I just wanted to add that City Council approved the plan, the original plan on April 10th of 2020 with our new contract service provider. We needed to update it because it is very specific to the contract provider. So it's just an update reflecting that RTW needs to maintain these guidelines.
Thank you very much. So, Council, do we have a motion to approve the updated Virginia Statewide Public Transportation Agency Plan for the City of Radford? We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. Now, what I'd like to do for this next section, if we may, I'm going to go through each ordinance one by one, but I will hold them to the end. If there is any concern about any one ordinance, we can go back and approve each one individually. Otherwise, we could approve them all as a group. Does that sound okay with everybody? That's what we're going to do then. So this is going to be a few minutes.
Anytime you
Absolutely. Well, and I want to make sure everybody is aware of everything before we get to that decision, and we'll go from there. Appropriation Ordinance 1763.15 for our Fire and EMS Department. They plan to purchase equipment for mass casualty incidents and some in-house training. This includes airway mannequins, supplies, traffic vests, communication pagers, storage bags, scoop, stretcher, and training arm. The cost of the equipment is $30,000 and will come from a restricted for life account designated for emergency medical services operations. Appropriation Ordinance 1763.16 is for the Radford Public Library. They've received a grant from the Dorothy Louise Kyler Foundation in the amount of $3,000, which will be used to expand the Wonder Books collection in the children and young adult section of the library, with no matching funds required from the city, so they can use that fund for that fully. Appropriation Ordinance 1763.17, again for the public library. They received a $3,000 private donation to enhance the children's or teen area, and the funds will be used to improve visual and audio equipment. Appropriation Ordinance 1763.18 for the police department. This is a fee that supports the e-ticket traffic costs for the Virginia Code. The revenue can only be used for specific purposes, such as funding software, hardware, and related equipment costs with the implementation of the electronic summons system. Police Department is requesting an appropriation of $19,697 to purchase new mobile data terminals used for the e-ticketing service system. Jesse has been an advocate of this in the past, as it is a bit safer for the officers to be able to use the e-ticketing system instead of the old manual system where they have to stand there and write everything out. Also, Appropriation Ordinance 1763.19 for the police department. We purchased 3 flock cameras that were installed throughout the city. That helps read license plates to identify stolen vehicles, stolen license plates. The Virginia State Police has reimbursed the city an amount up to $10,000 through its Help Eliminate Auto Theft program, which assists local law enforcement agencies in enforcement, prevention, and education efforts related to motor vehicle theft. Then finally, we have a litter grant in the amount of $8,850 for Ordinance 1763.20 from the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality for this next year. The funds will be used to support litter prevention, recycling, as well as promotion of environmentally friendly activities and education. No matching funds required, and that is a significant increase over the last few years, so that's a positive. Council members, do you have questions about any of these ordinances? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adopt Ordinance 1763.15, 1763.16, 1763.17, 1763.18, 1763.19, and 1763.20 as a group? We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Having heard 4 affirmative votes, we can dispense with a second reading if so desired. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to dispense with a second reading of these ordinances. Any additional commentary? Hearing none, all in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. David, the floor is yours.
Just a couple of quick things. As mentioned earlier, today is Law Enforcement Officers Appreciation Day. I cannot say enough about our Radford City Police Department and our Sheriff's Department. They're responsive. They are very, very good at what they do, and I think our citizens, we're very fortunate to have them. So thank you to all of our folks that are in law enforcement. We appreciate all that you do each and every day in keeping us safe and protecting public property. So thank you all very much for that. Also, we're taking a look at a number of projects going, you mentioned some tonight, looking at paving, things like that. You know, the past year since COVID, things have been difficult. Supply chain, cost of things, it's hard to bite on something when, paving, you pay half the amount of roads that you paid 3 years ago because of the supply chain issues and petroleum costs. So we're trying to be as frugal as possible, watching for those prices, do what we can, areas that
Thank you very much. I just want to add to David's comment, you know, the paving issue is a constant problem for all of us. That's something we worry about, and we did such a great job paving West Main Street, and just about the time we got it done, we had sinkholes open up, we had additional property development come along and the need for cuts in the road there. So those are always the issues you're going to face. And, you know, David and I have talked about this a great deal. I feel bad for him because every time I see a pothole, I'm either sending him a text or giving him a phone call because that's frustrating to me too. But, you know, one of the big issues we run into is how often do you repave a section? Because like you said, how long has it been? How long will it be? And if we spend all our money in one area, do we have the money to do the other things that we need to do? So I think that's a real crucial one, but thank you for addressing that. Jesse, since you're on the phone and you might get cut off at any time, I'm going to let you go ahead and we'll go from there.
I'm sorry. Are you saying go ahead with?
Yes, go ahead with your comments.
Okay. Just as an overview of the evening, is this the end of the evening comments, David?
Yes, we're at the end of the evening comments.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we were where we were at with that.
We're rocking and
I just wanted to also welcome all of the new members, and as you see, we have a lot of good work ahead of us, and we're always a good team. We always come together and do what's right, and I will assume we're all going to do that and work for the city of Bradford. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
be back in town tomorrow.
All right, and we'll see you next time. Seth, what do you have? Yeah.
Again, I'd like to thank all the citizens that came out, not only to be here, but specifically the ones who brought some things to our attention and their comments. I'll echo everyone's thank you and gratitude for our police department on National Law Enforcement Day. You know, it's certainly they deserve more than a day, and we're thankful every day for them. And I'll just end by saying, you know, I appreciate everyone's support. I'm looking forward to serving this role. It's something I don't take lightly. You know, it's a new year, it's a new council, and I'm looking forward to serving this city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kelly, what do you have for us this evening?
I had a question about the paving because someone asked me and I didn't know the answer. Do we outsource all of the paving? Do we do some of it ourselves? Okay.
Yes, we
I'm
do
ass-
have a small paving work that we do. We fix all potholes. We can do some milling, some small areas.
Okay.
But generally, we do a procurement each year for our master paving program.
Okay. Paving is always on everybody's mind, and I had someone ask and I didn't know the answer, so now we all know. I think I echo what everybody said. Thankful to be here and excited, and yeah, I hope everybody has a good couple of weeks until we see you again.
Thank you very much. Bobby, what do you have?
Pretty much the same thing everybody else is saying, but appreciate everybody coming. Appreciate people coming up here and speaking to us, you know, and that means a lot to us. Likewise, the concerns that we've all addressed here, we all have the same concerns. So we're just going to work together and get them all taken care of. And I appreciate everybody showing up here today, you know, and if it's anything that any of us can do for you, let us know. And I'll make a note of it, or any of us will do that, and we'll follow up. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And again, I'll say ditto and echo the comments everyone else has made for our Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. I don't think we can say thank you enough. Thank you, Chief Dodson. Thank you to all our law enforcement officers. And I'll expand that to say thank you to all who provide first response help, to all who make a difference in this community. Thank you to the Sheriff's Office, to our fire and EMS team, and thank you to all who make a difference for this community every day. This is an exciting time, and we want to welcome our new council members. This is certainly different once you get on this side of the dais, and you'll hear lots more good information, and we'll have lots more problems that we get to solve together. So we're excited to have everybody here. A couple of things that I wanted to point out that are coming up. This Saturday, the place to be is going to be the Dedman Center. It is Bobcat Day at Radford Men's Basketball, 2 p.m. at the Dedman Center. Now, you may know that Coach Nichols is a Bobcat alumnus, a Radford High School alum. Come on out. Let's pack the place. Black and gold and red and white look mighty good together, so come on out and cheer for the Bobcats that are there as part of the Highlanders as well. So that's at 2 o'clock on Saturday at the Dedman Center. I hope we can have a record crowd down there and show our support. Coming up on February the 25th. This is something I've issued a challenge for before, but I am certainly excited to have some new members of council who might be willing to join us. And certainly our law enforcement community is a part of this. One of the most important things we do every year is we participate in the Polar Plunge as a fundraiser for the Special Olympics. And I am a proud member of the Chillbillies and will once again be venturing into the cold to raise money for the Special Olympics. I would like to challenge all my fellow council members to join me in this process. I think it's a positive, and it certainly helps you feel the responsibility of your role on council. I must say, though, in all seriousness, our law enforcement community has been a major supporter of the Special Olympics and the Polar Plunge for well over a decade. And certainly that makes a difference in the lives of an awful lot of people in Radford, the New River Valley, Southwest Virginia, and the Commonwealth. The Special Olympics help serve a purpose beyond athletics, and it is certainly something that all of us can raise awareness for, raise money for, and help make happen. So seriously, February 25th, put it on your calendar, plan to be at Dudley's Landing. I'm going in the river, I'm just saying, the water's fine, come on in, you all can join us. But it is an important piece to add. And in all seriousness, for the rest of the evening, I am excited about the future of the city of Radford. We've talked about a lot of things. There has been no stone left unturned in the last few years as we have looked to address the economic climate in our community, housing, infrastructure, continuing to work for those that are not as privileged in the city of Radford. Public safety, record investments in our fire and EMS with our police department, helping to make our community as safe and to provide the tools and equipment that all those folks need. I don't see any change in that in the future as we continue to move forward. What I do see is us continuing to expand our efforts to work for every citizen in the city of Radford. You know, Bobby, you've brought up multiple times your concern about the homeless population, people that have housing insecurity, that have food insecurity, that have other issues. We'll be addressing the opioid epidemic through the utilization of some funds that have been provided to the city of Radford and to the Commonwealth of Virginia to try to make the lives of our citizens better. And the one thing we can do every time we come in this room is keep in mind the citizens of the city of Radford are the reason we're here, and making their lives better is our purpose in this council. And as such, I will entertain a motion for us to adjourn this evening. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor say good night. Good night.